Welcome back to the Deep Dive. I'm genuinely excited you're joining us for another journey into what really makes organizations tick. Today, we're peeling back the layers on a document that's absolutely foundational for any company striving for consistent excellence, the ISO 9001.2001 Verified Audit Checklist. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, checklist audit. It can sound a bit like, well, like paperwork maybe. But trust me, this isn't just some dry list of boxes to tick. This checklist is, it's a powerful diagnostic tool, a really precise roadmap for understanding and assessing an organization's quality management system, or QMS. Our mission today is to cut through any perceived complexity, give you a real shortcut to understanding exactly what auditors look for, why these specific questions matter so deeply, and how this seemingly simple document helps organizations not just talk about quality, but truly embed it in everything they do. We're going to unpack this checklist clause by clause, highlight the really important insights, and reveal how it becomes a driver for achieving those big organizational goals. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is how this checklist serves as the definitive roadmap for quality assurance. I mean, the ISO 9001 standard itself is a globally recognized benchmark for how organizations manage quality, right? And this audit checklist is the very document auditors use as their compass. It's used everywhere. You see it in an organization's own internal self-assessments, right through to the rigorous external surveillance and certification audits. And it really isn't just about compliance. It's about verifying that a system is not only there, but genuinely effective, that it's constantly contributing to success and, proving commitment to quality.
That's a brilliant way to frame it, a compass for effectiveness. Okay, so let's jump right into the first major section, though. Clause 4, which focuses on the context of the organization. It sounds like such a big picture, almost strategic thing. Why would an auditor, start an audit here before looking at operations or anything?
It's absolutely crucial because, well, a quality management system doesn't operate in a vacuum, right? To assess if a QMS is truly effective, an auditor first needs to grasp the whole environment it exists within. This clause basically sets the stage and makes sure the QMS is relevant to that organization's unique situation. So, the key questions an auditor will be asking here are things like, have internal and external issues been identified and documented properly? Think about it. Internal issues could be company culture shifts, maybe high turnover, communication problems, external issues, maybe new regulations, market disruptions, new tech popping up. The auditor wants to see these forces are actually considered. Then they'll look really closely at interested parties. Are the needs and expectations of everyone involved, customers, employees, regulators, suppliers, maybe even the local community, are they determined, reviewed regularly?
Interested parties. So basically anyone with a stake in how the company does.
Exactly. Anyone who has a stake in your success or failure. Auditors want to see you're not just guessing what they want, but actively listening and responding. Because ignoring them, that can derail quality fast. Ignore employee feedback, you get low morale, maybe quality shortcuts. So they check that. They also check if the scope of the QMS is clearly defined, documented, and actually appropriate for what the organization does. Keeps it focused. And finally, are the QMS processes themselves identified with their inputs, outputs, success criteria, how they link together? It really is the bedrock for the whole audit.
I like that, setting the coordinates and checking the wins before the journey.
Right.
And speaking of journeys, our next stop is Clause 5. Leadership. Leadership. That sounds pretty broad. What are auditors really looking for here? Is it just about signing policies or is it deeper?
Oh, it's definitely more profound than just a formality. This clause checks for top management's active involvement, their tangible commitment to the QMS. An auditor wants evidence that leadership truly demonstrates commitment, not just on paper. Through their actions, decisions, how they assign resources. Do they actually show up for QMS review meetings? Do they ask about quality performance metrics? Are they engaged?
Okay, so real engagement, not just lip service.
Precisely. And a key area is how customer focus is promoted. How is meeting customer needs prioritized right from the top? Are there clear ways to get customer feedback? How are complaints handled? Are lessons learned fed back into the system? They'll also look for a clear quality policy. Is it just filed away, or is it actually communicated? Understood by employees, reviewed regularly so it stays relevant. And critically, are roles and responsibilities for the QMS clearly assigned, documented, and understood? Avoids confusion, ensures accountability. Leadership commitment isn't just setting the tone, it's actively shaping the direction and the culture for quality everywhere in the organization. Without it, even the best system can just fizzle out.
That really clarifies why leadership isn't just a checkbox. It's the engine, isn't it? You can have the best car, but without the engine.
Exactly. It won't go anywhere.
So once that direction is set,
How do you move from wanting quality to actually planning for it? That commitment naturally leads us to Clause 6, planning, because like you said, quality isn't accidental. What are the key proactive things an auditor digs into here to make sure quality is systematically built?
Right, this is where the forward-looking aspect of ISO 9001 really comes through. Auditors look hard for evidence of proactive thinking. First, they check if risks and opportunities are systematically identified, assessed, and if actions are planned to address them. And this isn't just like a list of bad things that might happen. Auditors want to see if the organization uses this to turn potential threats into opportunities.
Oh, interesting. So finding a risk could actually lead to an improvement.
Absolutely. Say you identify a new technology as a risk to your old processes. You could plan to invest in it, turn it into an advantage, instead of just reacting later. It's about proactive evolution. Second, are there measurable quality objectives, and are they monitored? The key word here is absolutely measurable. It's not enough to say improve customer satisfaction. An auditor wants specific, quantifiable targets like reduce complaints by 15% in Q3 and a clear way to track progress.
Makes sense. You need to know if you're actually getting there.
Exactly. And finally, in a world that's always changing, auditors check if changes to the QMS itself are planned and controlled effectively. This manages evolution, making sure changes don't mess things up. This whole clause really links quality planning to strategic thinking, anticipating challenges, grabbing opportunities, building resilience.
Resilience and agility, definitely key these days. Okay, next up is Clause 7, support. This feels like the essential backbone, the infrastructure that lets the QMS actually work. What critical resources and processes does an auditor check here to ensure that foundation is solid?
You're spot on. This is all about the foundations that let the whole system operate well. Auditors first check resources infrastructure like equipment and facilities, the right environment for processes, and, critically, the right people. Are they adequate? Available. Then they dig into competence. Are people demonstrably competent for their roles? Is training documented? Up to date? Effective? And they don't just look at certificates. They might talk to staff, watch them work, see if the training actually stuck. The human element is huge here.
So not just trained, but actually capable and aware.
Exactly. Awareness is the next step. Are employees aware of the quality policy, the objectives, and, importantly, the relevance of their own work to the QMS? It's more than training. It's understanding their part in the big picture. You know, does the person on the production line get how a tiny error could cause a big customer problem? Communications are key too. Internal and external comms defined and effective. And a huge one, documented information. All those policies, procedures, records, are they controlled, updated, easy to find when needed? Basically, this clause makes sure the organization has the tools, the capabilities, and the clear instructions to get the job done right.
That's a lot of crucial detail building that sturdy framework. Okay, now let's move to where the rubber really meets the road. Clause 8, operation. This is all about the actual processes of making products or delivering services. What does an auditor look for in this very hands-on section?
Yeah, this is the core, all right? Auditors do extensive checks here, looking at the whole product or service lifecycle. First, are operations planned and controlled to consistently meet customer requirements? That's the day-to-day execution. Then, crucially, before committing to a customer, are those requirements thoroughly reviewed and understood? This pre-commitment check stops misunderstandings, scope creep, make sure you can actually deliver what you promise.
That sounds vital. Avoid promising the moon when you can only deliver, well, less than the moon.
Precisely. If design and development is involved, is that process controlled? Through planning, verification, validation steps, and anything sourced externally suppliers, basically, are they properly evaluated, selected, monitored, reevaluated? It's managing that supply chain risk. A weak link upstream can sink the final product.
Right, your quality is only as good as your supplier's quality in some cases.
Absolutely. Then the production and service stuff itself needs control, proper labeling, equipment maintenance, traceability if needed. Before anything goes out the door, are product services verified? Does it meet all the requirements? That's the final quality gate. And inevitably, things sometimes go wrong. So what happens then? Are non-conforming outputs, faulty parts, wrong service delivered identified immediately, controlled, corrected effectively? Auditors look for a clear system to contain the problem, figure out why it happened, root cause analysis, and fix it so it doesn't happen again. This clause is all about consistency, reliability, meeting those customer expectations, start to finish.
That's a really comprehensive look at the operational nitty-gritty. Okay, so once all that planning, support, and operation is humming along, how do you know if it's actually working? That brings us to Clause 9, performance evaluation. Why is it so vital to constantly check the system's pulse? Why not just assume it's okay?
Well, this is exactly where an organization gathers the objective proof that its QMS is effective. It answers that critical question: is this system actually working, delivering results? This clause provides the answers through systematic checks. Auditors verify if key processes and, importantly, customer satisfaction are being rigorously monitored and evaluated. This usually means specific metrics, defect rates, on-time delivery, customer complaints, and how that data is analyzed. What are the trends telling you?
So looking at the data, not just gut feeling.
Exactly. Objective evidence. We'll also look deeply at the internal audit process itself. Are internal audits done periodically, objectively, effectively? These are the organization's own self-checks, like a regular health checkup. Super critical for finding issues internally before an external auditor does. Auditors look for independence in internal auditing, and that findings actually get followed up on. And finally, does top management review the QMS at planned intervals and take necessary actions based on those reviews? This management review ensures findings from monitoring, measurement, internal audits. All the data gets addressed at the top. Decisions get made, resources allocated, maybe new directions set. It's about learning from your own performance.
Right. It's not just doing the work. It's checking your homework, learning from it, and making sure the leadership sees it too. And that naturally leads to the final clause, Clause 10.
Improvement.
Because quality isn't a fixed destination, is it? It's a journey. What are the final crucial steps an auditor looks for here to ensure that journey keeps moving forward?
Absolutely. This clause is what truly closes the loop. It ensures the QMS evolves, gets stronger, doesn't just stagnate. Auditors will focus hard on two key areas here. First, nonconformities. Those times something went wrong, a requirement wasn't met, are they effectively addressed? And are corrective actions not just done, but tracked to make sure they actually worked? It's about truly learning from mistakes, finding root causes, stopping them from happening again, not just quick fixes.
So fixing the underlying problem, not just the symptom.
Exactly. Second, are opportunities for improvement identified and acted upon regularly. This is about proactive enhancement, moving beyond just fixing problems to actively making the system better, more efficient. How does the organization look for these opportunities? Analyzing data, employee suggestions, looking at best practices. This clause makes sure the organization doesn't just maintain compliance, but actively tries to exceed expectations. It turns findings into improvements, embeds that culture of always getting better.
That's such a powerful cycle plan. Do, check, act, and always improve. Okay, beyond these specific clauses, are there any sort of general audit requirements or overarching principles that tie it all together?
Yes, there are really three critical overarching questions auditors keep in mind throughout the whole audit across all the clauses to get that holistic view. First, are the quality objectives genuinely aligned with the strategic direction of the organization? This makes sure the QMS isn't just some side project, but truly part of the core business goals.
Right, it needs to support the main mission.
Precisely. Second, and this is maybe the ultimate test, is the QMS actually achieving the intended results? Is customer satisfaction improving? Is process performance good? Products delivered right, on time? It's about tangible proof of effectiveness. And finally, are records maintained? As clear, verifiable evidence of conformity and effectiveness. This is crucial. Without proper records, training logs, inspection reports, meeting minutes, whatever, it's incredibly hard to prove the system is working as intended.
It's the proof. The paper trail, or the digital trail these days.
Exactly. It confirms both compliance and performance.
That makes perfect sense. You got to show your work. Now, for anyone listening who might be involved in an audit, maybe prepping for one or even doing one, what are some practical tips for using a checklist like this effectively?
Yeah, the source material gives some really good practical advice here. It suggests using this kind of checklist not just for internal audits, but also as a guide for surveillance audits, even the big certification audits. It's very versatile. When you're actually doing the audit, you need to collect concrete evidence. And that means going beyond just looking at documents. It means doing insightful interviews with people at all levels and actually observing processes in action.
So seeing it happen, not just reading about it.
Right. If a procedure says a machine needs daily calibration, an auditor might actually watch a technician do it, not just check a logbook entry. It's a multifaceted approach: documents, interviews, observation. As you go through the checklist, you mark your findings clearly. Is it compliancy, meets the requirement? Is it a nonconformity, an NDNC, a deviation, or an opportunity for improvement? OFI, not a problem, but could be better. And critically, for any NCs you find, you absolutely must ensure follow-up on the corrective actions. This really underlines that the checklist is a dynamic, living tool for driving real improvement, not just some static thing you file away. It's about sparking continuous positive change.
And there you have it, a full deep dive into the ISO 9301.2015 audit checklist. We've journeyed clause by clause, pulled out the key questions auditors ask, and hopefully shown that this isn't just a dense document, but actually a powerful, practical framework for organizational excellence. Whether you're prepping for a meeting, catching up, or just curious about how companies ensure reliability, understanding this framework is a genuine shortcut to grasping how organizations systematically ensure quality and keep improving.
So what does this all mean? It means quality isn't just a buzzword or some happy accident. It's a meticulously planned, expertly executed, and continually refined system. And there's a clear roadmap, like this audit checklist, guiding every step. It's about building trust, boosting efficiency, and securing consistent success.
A great summary. And maybe a final thought for our listeners.
Yeah, maybe think about an area in your own life or work where a structured checklist or a systematic approach could reveal some hidden risks, or maybe opportunities for significant improvement, even if it's not a formal audit. Could be a personal project, a recurring task at work. How might you start to apply these principles, planning, doing, checking, acting just like a QMS does, to make your own processes more robust and your results more reliable?
A fantastic thought to leave us with. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Till next time, keep digging for knowledge and applying those insights.